Tea Party wants to know, will you vote with Mike Lee and Meadows here to defund Obamacare? Yes or no?
Would you like to give a thoughtful answer? No. Let me tell you why. Okay, you got your answer. Let me tell you why. It takes 60 votes in the U.S. Senate, doesn't it? We don't have 12 votes.
Welcome back to Hardball. That was Republican Congressman Robert Pittenger explaining to disgruntled constituents at a town hall Monday that he is voting against defunding Obamacare. Now, 4 years ago, angry protests over the president's health care law erupted at town hall meetings across the country. They formed a Tea Party wave that crested over Obamacare and swept a new breed of Republicans into power in the Congress in 2010. And Tea Party anger wasn't just limited to Obamacare. Remember at this town hall where former Delaware Congressman Mike Castle was confronted by a voter who demonstrated a new level of vitriol and viciousness?
I want to go back to January 20th, and I want to know, why are you people ignoring his birth certificate?
Angry vitriol at town halls in 2010 was an early sign of the coming Republican sweep at the polls. Are we seeing any harbingers of a 2014 wave, one way or the other? With me now, Republican strategist Rick Tyler, who's the president of the Strategy Group for Media, and Aisha Moody Mills of the Center for American Progress. Aisha, read the tea leaves thus far. Are there any issues out there that are popping? Are there any signs of a coming wave like we saw in 2010?
Well, I think that there's a sign of a wave that's coming, but it's going to be the opposite of what we saw in 2010.
How so?
You know, the Republicans have spent years making this anti-Obamacare bed, and now they're going to have to lie in it. I mean, you're seeing this civil war of infighting happening, and, you know, I think that it's really going to crash and burn them.
But, you know, Rick, passion sells, especially in primary season and especially on the GOP side of the aisle. Might this mark a reemergence of Tea Party candidates, even those who can win a primary but never win a general election?
Well, aside from the latter point of your assertion, yes. I do think this could be a harbinger, as it was in 2009. That was a real movement, and not only was it reflected in the polls, it was clearly reflected in the vote. We won 50. I think we picked up 56. It was a historic Republican sweep, and if the left is deathly afraid that we're in a repeat here, because there is a narrative here. It's a meta-narrative. We have people who don't trust the government on NSA spying. We have people who don't trust the government with the IRS declining conservative organizations. We have Benghazi, which we don't hear enough about, and now we're going to have the IRS implement Obamacare. By the way, it's not defunding Obamacare. Obamacare hasn't been funded. So the real question is, will we vote to fund Obamacare or not defund? And it's certainly not the Republicans who would shut the government down. It would be President Clinton, President Obama. Of course, I don't think it would get to his desk, but by virtue of him not signing or vetoing the budget, that would shut the government down.
Let me show you something. Congressman Pittenger took a defiant approach to his attendees who asked him to vote to defund Obamacare, even though he tried to explain why it would be pointless, and the crowd did not like what they heard.
Why do you fight a battle you can't win? Then we lose over there, then they come back to us in the House. You win in this battle by going after, and I'll look at your camera, we look at your battle, but we look at every battle and how we can win. Do you think Harry Reid is going to pass that in the Senate?
It doesn't matter what Harry Reid is. We need to show the American people we stand for conservative values and that we worry about the
Aisha, the passion still seems to be on the right side of the aisle. You're telling me that you think that there's potentially a wave coming of Democratic support in time for the 2014 cycle, but you don't see that anecdotally.
Here's what you're seeing. You're actually seeing cheers and jeers, coming at the Republicans. They're getting flack from both sides. Americans who are Democrats and Americans who are Republicans are really frustrated with them. I mean, for a couple of reasons. We have a poll that came out that showed that most people, the vast majority of people, really think that we should at the very least be improving upon, at the most I should say, be improving upon Obamacare and to leave it as it stands. And so every time they try to repeal or they try to defund, they're turning people off on both sides, be it Tea Partiers who are technically, on their side of the aisle, or other Democrats. And I think that this is going to be bad news for the GOP in general.
Rick, in another part of North Carolina, Pittenger's colleague Patrick McHenry, a staunch opponent of Obamacare, faced his constituents in a town hall. But in a surprising turn of events, his constituents, they wanted to know why he won't support Obamacare in the first place, because some of them say it's helping. Here's the tape.
Yes, sir. I'm Steve Edwards from East Asheville. I'm 63. My wife is 63. And without Obamacare, we would have no health insurance. I'd like to ask you and the Republican Party to answer the question is, why do I not have a moral right and access to health care and you want to defund Obamacare, which is by law and policy going to save billions of dollars over the next 10 years?
Rick, anecdotally, in the 2014 cycle, there will be those individuals, whether they're young Americans who now could remain on their parents' plan when heretofore they couldn't do so, or maybe someone who had pre-existing conditions who could not get health insurance now who can get health insurance. I mean, there will be those faces to associate with stories like presumably that man's that the GOP will have to respond to if they thwart this from moving forward.
Of course, but we can fix all those things, and the Republicans have said that from the beginning. And by the way, the Republican Party is not divided on this issue. Every single Republican voted against Obamacare. Almost all the Democrats voted for it. Several Democrats actually broke ranks on this Obama's delaying of the mandate for employers, which has no effect on the individual, so I'm not sure why he did it in the first place. But this is what's wonderful about town halls. Look, I grew up in New Hampshire. This is what town halls are for. The people who show up get their voices heard, and you all can cover it. But what the Republicans know is that if Obamacare goes through, in the end, fewer people have health insurance. The average family is going to pay at least $2,300 more. We don't know how that man is going to be affected by Obamacare because we don't know the impact it will have on doctors, access, availability, technology, incentives,
well, and let me jump in here, Rick,
Aisha, take a quick final word, because then I want to say something and we've got to get out. Let me have a final word on
this. We don't know that because the Republicans have demonstrated that they're not interested in figuring out if there are any opportunities for improvement. They don't want to work on anything. They just want to can the whole thing.
Hey, here's my guys, time out. Here's my final thought on this. When I look at the footage from those town hall meetings, I say to myself, who in the world would want to run for office? I think that incivility, I think that incivility drives good people or keeps good people from getting into the fray. Thank you very much, Rick Tyler. Thank you, Aisha Moody Mills. We appreciate your being here. Up next, running out of people to alienate in this country, Anthony Weiner's now taking on the Germans and the Brits. That's ahead. And a programming note, please remember you can listen to my radio program weekday mornings at 9 Eastern on SiriusXM's POTUS channel 124. This is Hardball, the place for politics.